We're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. You can also find us at HollywoodMatrimony.com.
Sorry, mine didn't go live, and then all of a sudden it caught up. Sorry.
You can find us on HollywoodMatrimony.com. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, and what's the other thing called? Shaky. I don't know. What's that thing called? Whatever. We're everywhere. Find us.
We're everywhere, yet we are nowhere.
Yeah, that's it.
Hive?
I said Hive. Blue Sky.
Instagram? Twitter?
That's probably all of it.
Facebook?
I don't know. Just go find us, Hollywood Matrimony. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to talk about random movies.
X?
I said X.
You did Twitter?
I did Twitter. Both X. I'm so confused by that whole thing. I think he's confused. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life.
Knucklehead.
Nutty buckets.
Oh.
All right. Let's talk about some movies. Whoop, whoop. Can I get a
All right, let's get it over with. Come on.
Wow.
I'm tired.
Love that enthusiasm.
It's been a weekend.
Let me close some things that we don't need. Let me go here. All right. Do you want to talk about this first?
Sure.
All right. Let's do it.
See, we're matching today.
We are matching. I haven't changed. This is what I wore when I left the house this morning.
She wore this when she left the house, and I literally got dressed before this show. I've been sitting in front of my drawing table since 10 o'clock this morning.
I've been everywhere, man.
I didn't eat lunch.
You did not? Why not? There's food.
I think I ate some cereal when I first got up.
I
think that's all I've had today.
Oh, well, we'll eat after this. Anyway. All right. We're talking about the movie Ordinary Angel starring Hilary Swank.
And Alan Richardson.
Who you also know from?
Reacher.
He's that guy. And then Hilary Swank, you should just know who's Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank.
Wow. I'm a Hilary Swank fan. You are not.
I feel like this is really more his movie than hers, but it's kind of both of them. You know, I know she gets top billing because she's more well known. She's Academy Award winner.
She's a winner.
But it is kind of both of them. It's based on a true story. At first, I had no interest in watching this movie because I thought it was going to be one of those Dove movies. And usually those are trash, despite their despite their good message. Most of the time, they're still usually just crappy made movies. But it is not. But it does. While it does have a faith-based ideal, it's not a down your throat thing. It's really about these two people that are trying to find their way in the world, dealing with different tragedies and their own faith and their own what to believe in and what not to believe in, or even who to believe in, not just God, but other people. So it's got a lot of inner struggles and redemptions and all that kind of stuff of people trying to find their purpose in the world.
Yep.
So what's this movie about?
Basically, it's about this man you see there in the photo. His daughter is ill. A lot of other stuff has happened. At the moment, his daughter is ill and needs a transplant. Obviously, they need money to pay all their bills. They need to find a way to get her to the transplant place when it's time. A lot of things get in their way as they're trying to get there. And Hilary Swank comes out of nowhere to help.
Well, she's also down on her own.
She also has some problems. She's got a lot of issues. She happens
to see the story on the news or something. Right now, I forgot.
I think she was reading the paper.
Reading the paper, maybe. And she just decides, I'm going to help these people because
I need to do something
purpose.
Good.
You know, and it's kind of her own redemption arc, which I think it starts off as a one-off thing that just turns into a bigger thing. So
exactly.
I was surprised that I enjoyed this movie as much as I did. It's not a great movie. It's kind of by the numbers. It's pretty average, but I think it's balanced well enough, and both the performances of both people are really well done. It's always like I like seeing Richardson as somebody that's not an action star because he's such a massive dude.
He's big.
And most everything we've seen him do is, he was in the last Fast and Furious movie. He was in, obviously he does Reacher. He played Aquaman on Smallville, and he's been in some other stuff, but he's just this massive hulk of a man. In this movie, he gets to really stretch the acting chops and be emotional, just be a dad. Never once did he walk around with his shirt off, so it gives him a chance to do something different, which I really like seeing.
And then I was reading, we know Hilary Swank can do this emotional range and this drama and all that.
Do we?
I do.
Okay.
And this, in a way, it kind of felt a little bit like that other movie where she was the secretary collecting all the stuff for the lawsuit. And they're like, okay, maybe you might think they wrote this movie to just bring out all the emotion.
Which movie is that one? Because every time you mention that, I think of Erin Brockovich.
It's Erin Brockovich.
That's
Is that not her?
That's Julia Roberts.
What's the other one that she did?
She did something like that.
But it's the same thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But you said that, I'm thinking, that's Julia Roberts.
My bad.
But no, she did do a movie like that.
One. Oh, man.
Keep saying what you're saying, though. I'll look it up. You keep saying
But they were saying, you probably think they wrote this just for her to be able to bring out that emotion. But the crazy thing is it's a true story. And when you see all the things that happen in this movie, it's hard to believe that this is a true story.
Well, she is good at playing like these
tough kind of women.
I don't even think tough. I'm looking at more hillbilly, kind of white trashy.
Yeah, but she's getting things done.
No, I'm not saying it in a bad way either. She just seems to kind of embody that southern, because she pulls off that southern drawl kind of thing, and I think she fit the role well.
For sure. Sorry, but also too, if you watch the show, you don't watch the show, the Alaska Daily.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same thing. Like, she's just determined. She doesn't care what happens. She keeps going. People are out to get her. They tried to shoot some people in the last season. She just kept going. So, I mean, I think she just has that in her. Like, that's just who she is, I think.
Or she just is a good actress.
No, that's who she is. Because remember.
Is that Mary and Martha?
Maybe that's the one.
That's the TV one about the factory. No, that's something else.
Oh, that might be that one.
That's not the factory. That's something else.
But that's where she's trying to save all those.
That's about fixing sons of malaria. Anyway, moving on. Who cares?
But that's
she's not thing. Julia Roberts and Erin Brockovich.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. Sometimes they all look the same.
Do they?
You do.
I don't think she looks anything like
Julia
Roberts. That just happened here.
But you don't like Julia Roberts either.
No, but I've actually grown. Julia Roberts has grown on me as an actress.
You like a fungus among us?
Yeah, because I think I never thought she was overly attractive. I think as she's gotten older, she's got a little more attractive. Hilary Swank is just not.
Oh, she's pretty to me.
I don't think she is. I mean, I'm not gonna bash her. Say that nothing to do with why I watch anybody's movie, but she's just not.
That is why you watch. What's that lady? The Latina lady that you like? It was in the movie with Ben Affleck that was horrible. The movie was horrible.
Ana de Armas?
Yes.
I didn't think that movie was horrible. Thank you very much.
But you watch her.
But I don't watch it because she's pretty. I actually like her.
Because
I think she's a good actress.
She's coming into her own. That movie was not good.
I like that movie.
It was not good.
Hypnotic? I enjoyed that movie.
Not Hypnotic. Was that the
one?
No,
you're talking about no. Yeah, you're talking about. I didn't mind the other movie. That's talking about the married couple that are having trouble.
Yes, they were crazy. Hypnotic was okay. It just let me down.
You didn't like Hypnotic either.
It let me down at the end. So
it was kind of what I expected it to be.
No.
I think you had some other plan in your mind.
I guess I expected.
I enjoyed that movie.
Anyway. Matt Damon show up.
You don't know anything. Anyway, moving on. It's a good movie.
This movie's really good. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I love Hilary Swank, so there you go.
And I think the final act, which is when they're trying to make this big thing happen, is like the biggest, most ridiculous Hollywood thing until they finish it up, and then they show the actual news footage of them doing the actual thing that they do in the movie.
That's what I'm saying. This seems
so it's like, had they not had something like that, you would have been like, okay, it's a fun Hollywood thing, and that would never work. But then they show the actual footage of them doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
So
this is a crazy, true story.
It was a good movie.
It's a movie. Based on the book of the same name, written by the real lady.
It's one of those movies that's probably kind of fell under the radar. It came out a couple of weeks ago.
I hope people see it.
It didn't do the numbers that people expected, but a lot of it's because of.
I don't think it would though.
No, but a lot of it's because of the type of movie it is, where it's either. They see the real life stuff, or they see it more of like, this must be some sort of religious
inspirational
thing. Yeah, so they don't always hit as well, and especially the way the box office is now, people aren't just going to see everything like they used to. So I know that he was out. I didn't see a lot of press for her, but I know he was out pushing the crap out of this.
No, that's
but
good.
he's hardcore Jesus.
So he's into
not like crazy Jesus, but he's very much. He reminds me of Mark Wahlberg in a standpoint of, but instead of Catholic, more Christianish.
Yeah.
You know,
Mark Wahlberg's been very busy during this whole Lent season with that app, that Hello app.
Oh yeah, the Play It Pray app.
Him and Jesus and
Him and Jesus?
Yeah, the guy that played Jesus and the
Jim Caviezel.
No. The new Jesus, not crazy Jesus. The
new Jesus.
The one that's on the TV series.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll go find it.
Okay, anyway, I don't care. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It sounds uninteresting. But you're talking about this new Prey app?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not new, but
I mean, they just kind of launched it. This thing that he's doing.
It's him and Jesus. I gotta go find who it is. This guy.
I don't know
Jonathan Romy.
Okay. Anyway.
Doesn't matter. The thing you need to know about Hilary Swank is she's Latina and I love her. There you go.
She's barely Latina.
Her grandmother's Mexican.
Her grandmother.
I'm counting it. We claim Hilary Swank.
Her grandmother and what? Both of her parents are white.
Doesn't matter. She's German, Irish, whatever.
How's her grandmother Latina, but both her parents are not?
Well, no, her grandmother is Mexican, and her other roots include German, Scottish, and English. That's okay. You can be a mixed ravioli.
Okay, but I'm not done. I'm talking about her parents.
Well, she's obviously, her mom's part Mexican because it says her maternal grandmother. Her mom's part Mexican and something else.
Your story keeps changing because you're trying to force heritage onto these people.
All we need is for Hilary Swank to show up in the next season of Karate Kid and all will be complete.
I don't think it's going to happen.
You got
and it's the final season, too.
She's got to. Everyone else has been there.
Yeah, I don't care if she shows back up. She's in the worst one anyway.
Oh, I love that movie. I'm going to go watch it right now.
You have no taste.
I love Hilary Swank.
We've heard the movies you like, so it kind of cancels you out. Anyway, Ordinary Angels is in theaters now, and I'm sure if nothing else, it's probably going to be on digital pretty soon, so it is worth checking out. It's not a bad movie.
Check it. It is a good movie. Don't listen to this one.
I just said it was a good movie.
Okay. Making sure.
Okay, yes, don't listen to me. It's a good movie. Don't listen to me at all.
I love you.
Run away that it's horrible because I said it was good.
I love you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Can we talk about this?
I don't give a crap what we talk about.
Man.
I wish you would do with this movie. You'd migrate somewhere else.
Wow. This is the new movie from Illumination. Migration. And it does include some shorts from the, what are they called? The Minions. Because it's from Illumination. There's 3 shorts, I believe, that go with the movie. So
yeah, but they're not all Minion ones, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of Minions and a couple others, but I feel like you need to have seen the other movies to know some of these characters.
Otherwise, none of this.
No, of the shorts.
Oh, well, that's a given.
Doesn't matter. Anyways, this is a cute little movie about a family of mallards. And
they're called the Mallard family.
Or they're the mallards.
Go figure.
I know, weird, huh? And the dad is one of those where he's never left his pond, his home pond.
He had childhood trauma.
He's never left his home pond. It's Kamal Nanjiani, right? Is the dad?
I believe so.
Okay. He's never left his home pond. He's telling the kids how scary it is, so we don't migrate. And suddenly a flock of ducks come and land in their pond on their way heading south. They're going to no, they're going to Jamaica. They're on their way to Jamaica. And they're like, come with us to Jamaica. Just follow us. And they're like, no, thank you. Well, they decide finally after lots of discussions, fights, and crying.
Let's be clear that it's not they say no thank you. The whole family wants to go except for him and the uncle.
Yeah.
Who are both the crazy, I don't want to leave anywhere.
Uncle Dan, who is Danny DeVito. Uncle Dan.
I had zero interest in this movie when I was seeing the trailers for it.
I thought it looked cute.
I thought the animation looked okay, but I was like,
cute.
There was nothing about this movie that made me want to rush out and go watch it. But I will say, it's a fun movie.
It's so funny.
It's funny. It is kind of by the numbers. It doesn't really stand out a lot. But it does the job. It has its little backstory and message, and behind putting yourself out there and kind of
courage and adversity,
finding yourself
and family.
So there's all the stuff that's usually shoved into these animated films is all here.
It's so cute.
But it is. The animation is
hilarious.
The animation is great. It's vibrant. It's bright. It's heartfelt. It's funny.
And I think it's good for kids and parents because there were jokes that we got and there were things for the kids and there's just funny things and then there's that weird. Is it a crane or heron? Heron. And the heron's like
heron. Yeah.
With the crazy eye. Oh, it's so funny. There's so many fun things in this movie.
It's a fun flick. It's worth checking out. It's
really
not
fun.
Breaking down the laws of animation by any means. I doubt it'll be a migration franchise. No. But it's a good little fun movie.
But I could see this coming up as a short in another movie somewhere.
Yeah, I can see that, or even pop up as like a little TV series kind of
Yeah,
thing,
be cute.
more so than another movie. But
Because they decide now at the end they're going to go somewhere else for migration, and they're
Yeah.
like, we don't.
and I don't know
fly
how
there.
well it did. So I mean, obviously
Yeah.
if it did really well,
So-
because it kind of came and went. But if it did really well, then it could end up being another one, and we see the next migration.
It won an award of some sort.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it did well enough to make more.
I know.
Winning an award and actually making money are two
I'm an
different
award
things.
winner.
There's a lot of movies that have won Academy Awards that made zero money.
It doesn't matter.
So anyway, migration
money
is
is not important.
it is important if you want a sequel.
Okay, maybe so.
Anyway, migration, that's a short one. There's not much to tell about it.
It's
other than
just a
watch it.
cute little movie you need to watch.
but
Grab
Migration-
everyone you know.
Migration is available now on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and blah 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 from Universal. And
Illumination. Oh, you were.
you're horrible with your cues.
I was waiting
So you'll-
because I kept interrupting you.
you'll never make it.
So
in
I was
this
trying
business.
to stop interrupting you.
You did interrupt me. I paused, waiting for you to respond.
I know, but earlier
You are never going to make it in this business with this attitude. Get it together,
I've
sister.
got a bad attitude.
All right, moving on.
All right, next.
I don't know next. Come on, give me something next.
You want to tell me about this? Because I am so curious. Where the heck has Mario Van Peebles been?
He's been directing. Like he has.
Oh.
He's been a director a lot of his career, and so
I see.
he's been directing a lot of TV and stuff. So you probably don't know this,
I don't know anything.
but he did a movie in 1993 called Posse, and it was a western.
Okay.
Had him, and I was all in for it. But not only being a fan of him, but had Big Daddy Kane and a bunch of other
Oh.
big people in it. So it was one of those like hip, where they have the westerns and they bring all these hip
Yeah.
people in, and
Yeah.
kind of cool, kind of like Magnificent Seven-esque.
Ah,
So
okay.
when I heard he was doing this movie and we started talking about it, I'm like, ooh, is this a sequel to Posse? And I got all excited. It has nothing to do with it.
Ah,
So that
it's just
disappointed
another
me.
Western.
Just a generic Western
Okay.
separately, but there is a fun little twist to it. The biggest difference between this movie and Outlaw Posse and Posse is this one didn't have near the budget the other one had. This one was very much more of a lower budget independent type film thing. It's not horrible by any means. It's just a little cheap, not cheap.
Independent looking.
Yeah, it's independent time. Yeah, and some of the performances were a little kind of hit and miss.
But they have Edward James Olmos, Cedric the Entertainer, Whoopi Goldberg,
Mhm.
and
And most of their performances are kind of They were, some of it could be editing. Some of it's just the script itself isn't the great. It's very simple. It's very generic. Everybody seemed to be trying to bring their thing to it and try to do a good job. But I mean, you have people in there like, I can't see it from here, but does it have Kim Gigante, whatever, on its front?
oh no, I don't see
Okay,
him.
well, he's barely in the movie for like 5 seconds, and there's some other people that kind of barely show up. There's some people that are more glorified cameos. Other people are in there for the full movie. Some are just like some
Kim.
sequences. It's not great, but it's not bad either. It's a straight to video type movie, even though it's getting a limited theater run. So if you watch it from that standpoint, it's not bad. I can see that they try to do the best they could to really create the West. There's some decent little, especially the last act, there's some decent shootouts and that kind of stuff. It's just not, it's not the strong, big budget Western that you might hope for.
Well, it seems like did he just put it out himself, or?
I mean, he came to a studio, but he directed it and he's putting out, he's directed a bunch of movies.
But
So,
did he write was he super involved?
yeah, I'm
Because it
sure he
says
is. I'm
Mario
sure.
Van Peebles presents.
Well, every film he does is Mario Van Peebles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And this one was dedicated to his father, who passed away
Oh,
not
that's
long
nice.
ago, Melvin Van Peebles, who was a big filmmaker in his own right. And I've been a Mario Van Peebles fan for
I have too. That's why I was like, where has
forever.
he been?
Like, back in the day, if a Mario Van Peebles movie came out, I was at the theater.
And all the ladies were too.
Because he had, New Jack City and what was that? Gunman with him and Christopher Lambert. What is it? But he's been directing a lot of stuff, like TV series
I
and
see. That's where he's
stuff
been.
like that.
Well, good for him. I'm glad.
But he did a movie not long ago. I was trying to find it. It was the last movie I was going to tell you when you asked me where's he been? Where's that movie? Seized. He did a movie in 2020. It was called Seized with him and Scott Adkins.
Oh,
So I was
well,
like,
you
what?
saw that.
Yeah, what a great movie.
You watch
But
everything with Scott Adkins.
I do. It wasn't a great one.
Okay, well,
But he's been working steadily. It's
good
just
for him.
the TV series A Million Little Things. He said he directed 6 episodes of it. And he directed the Wu-Tang American Saga stuff. So he's been doing.
So
all
he's been
kinds of
busy.
Stuff. Yeah,
Well, good. I'm glad.
But yeah, so this is we're hoping this is a continuation of Posse. It's not. It's its own thing. But the thing I didn't know until the end of the movie, which people sounded familiar to me, but I was like, whatever. At the end of the movie, it's kind of showing these different characters. A lot of these characters are based on real life people.
Oh.
So like I think it's Stagecoach Annie or Stagecoach Mary or something.
Yeah.
Was a real person.
Oh.
And so it shows Whoopi Goldberg and it has a picture of the real lady and it tells what they did.
Oh, cool.
So there's like 4 or 5 characters that were real people that he infused into his story.
That's cool.
And so it had an interesting twist of the real life historical figures fused into this movie. So anyway, it's a fine movie. It's like I said, it's very straight to video. But
it's okay.
It still made me happy to see Mario Van Peebles doing anything and shooting people, and the man doesn't seem to age.
No.
He's just now starting to look older.
Because black don't crack.
So anyway, it's available now on limited release in theaters. I'm sure it'll show up on digital at some point.
Okay. Let me see. Do we want to? Let's go here first.
That's the trailer that pops up. Is that Seized movie with Scott Adkins in him?
Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's go here.
All right.
This was a super fun movie. It's called Next Goal Wins.
This is another movie we watched a long time ago.
We did. I have to bring it back. Recall.
Did you have any interest in this movie before we watched it?
Yes, just because the trailer looks super fun, and this is like the worst soccer and/or football team, depending on where you're from, in the whole world. Is this even true? Is this a true story?
Yeah, sure, sorry.
But okay, it's the story of the infamously terrible American Samoa soccer team, known for a brutal 2001 FIFA match. They lost 31-0.
This is based on a real thing, and
that's what I thought was so funny.
There's a transgender character in here that's a real big deal.
Yeah, like the main girl you see there.
Yeah.
So.
And I was more interested in it because I love Taika Waititi.
Yes.
So I love his movies.
Is he Samoan or what is he?
He is New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yes. But for those that don't know him, first of all, shame on you.
For shame.
His big stuff is he directed the last 2 Thor movies, Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. He did Jojo Rabbit, which won some Oscars. I don't know if he created by himself or he co-created What We Do in the Shadows, that vampire thing. He did the movie and then the show.
I need to go watch that.
One of my favorite movies of his is Hunt for the Wilder People, which is fantastic. So anyway, so I was just excited to see him do something else, and especially this seemed out of place for Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
So I was, again.
What is his nationality and or
Michael
heritage?
Fassbender?
Yeah, is he just British? He's just a British dude.
I think he's.
Everyone says he's just.
German?
He's an Irish actor born in Germany. He's Irish.
He was born in Germany, right?
But born in
something
Germany.
in Germany.
I
think the first time I ever saw him was in.
Because I was trying to ascertain
Inglourious Bastards, I think.
The accent.
Anyway.
I think one of the things I love about this is that all of our characters are of this heritage or from the islands or somewhere.
Some islands of some sort.
Yeah, from there. Yeah, and so like the one guy is from Hawaii Five-0, Bulin Kowale.
Yeah.
Who if you saw the new Hawaii Five-0 series, he was in the last few seasons. And then a lot of these people who I don't know, but I'm glad that we're getting people of this nationality in a movie and that it's based on a true story. It was so fun. It is.
My favorite character is the guy that's the team owner. The little bald man with the glasses. He's super sweet.
Yes.
He has little quick scenes. I'm pretty sure he's the owner or the manager or whatever he is. But he's just funny because he's so polite. He never gets mad about anything, and he's always like, "Oh yes, you know." But this movie works because of the team.
Yes.
Everybody is so lovable, unique. They all have their own personalities. It didn't feel like they were just trying to. Here's a bunch of people and not give anybody time. Everybody had their own little thing, even if it was one line. They kind of separated themselves from everybody else.
Yes.
And of course, Taika Waititi always puts himself in the movie. He plays the priest.
Yeah, he's so funny. It was just funny. It's a really good movie, obviously about sports and teamwork, but I think more than anything, this group of people felt like they were family, and he didn't understand, like, well, why would you just wait an hour for this person to show up? If you don't get here, you don't get to play. You know, because he has these hard and fast rules that in island culture and island time, and I'm going to say CPT, we don't follow that. It's all very much go with the flow.
But and on some level of the storytelling, it is a by the numbers kind of like
Yeah, it
you
is.
understand. Okay, it's this typical
underdog story.
But redemption story of those inspirational sports ones where this guy's down, he comes back, then he gets the job to lead the team, but you know he's going to come back and all these things.
Yeah.
All that generic stuff is there, but it's again kind of like some of the other stuff we've talked about recently. The infusion of the culture makes it feel like it's something different, and then seeing the personalities and the love and all the different things and the culture plays such a heavy part. It's not even about the sport in this movie anymore. The soccer's the catalyst for everything, or football, but it's really the culture and the people and the family, and then him kind of finding another family and finding his place because he's kind of ousted by everybody.
For sure. Yeah.
So, and then there's the acceptance factor of the main girl who's a transgender woman, and him kind of not understanding how to deal with that, and then her place, and her kind of stepping up and dealing with her own drama.
Yes.
Of being transgender and on this team, and how they look at her, and she's actually a really big deal.
Like in real life.
Yeah. The not that the one in the movie, but who she plays. Yeah, who she plays ends up being like a really big deal in the world of soccer and the islands and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's a great flick.
I think too, one of the things that how do I say it? So
I don't know, how do you
with her being transgender, fine, that's its thing, but the cultural acceptance of that certain children is like, oh yeah, you can tell, so they just raise
them to something else
to be
we have too many of
feminine,
this, you need to be something
or
else,
to be masculine, but culturally it was culturally accepted.
And
or
where
like
here it's like there's something wrong with you.
But yeah, it's like, what's up with that? But here, like even Native Americans, like in the United States, or First Nation people in Canada, like the Native people, they were accepting of people who believed they were two-spirited, like they were both.
Yeah.
And so in island culture, they're accepting of like, okay, so we're going to raise them to be a girl. But why then do we have such mental and emotional blocks of this?
I can tell you exactly why.
Is it
because of religion? It's religion. Religion. Look, we live in. We're not going to get a big deep section of it, but we live in a country that thrived and persisted to say freedom of speech, freedom of religions, or whatever else.
As long as.
But it is not any of those things anymore. It's like if you aren't Christian or if you don't believe in God, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why Americans went to other countries to tell them they were wrong, to Japan and to China and to India, to say, hey, we're going to come to your country now and say, you're wrong in what you believe. You need to believe in God.
Except for those people that went to the Amazon and got eaten.
As they deserve, because, again, we've had this discussion. Like, I have a firm, hardcore belief, and you will never convince me otherwise, that if we have God, and I believe in God, so that's not what I'm saying, but if we have God in our world, and we believe Christianity or Catholicism or whatever that version of God you believe here, then there's a reason these other countries have different versions of their religions. And I believe if there's one God over the whole planet, that God did that way for a reason, whether it's because of the way they believe, but what's happened is everybody takes their Bible and they decipher it how they want to decipher it. And then they've decided, I'm right, you're wrong. And that's everything in the U.S. Everything is, I'm right, you're wrong.
Other countries do that as well. Baby.
I know that, but I'm just saying it's a generalization because we're talking about the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's just like, come immigrants, come to our country. Immigrants built this country. We love immigrants until they're here.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are you here?
No.
My favorite thing is when people start talking about the Statue of Liberty is one of the most iconic American things, but it's from France. It's not even American.
Anyways, I just thought it was interesting that culturally it's just a thing. It's not even a big deal, but we make it such a big deal.
And the only reason it's a big deal in this movie is because there's a moment where she alters herself trying to live up to whatever she needs to do to play the game.
But then it not just physically hurts her. It emotionally and physically hurts her.
But it's an important scene too to
not be who
him
she
realize
really is.
I'm changing her to be something she's not, and I need her to be what she is.
Yeah.
And maybe I need to do the same thing in a different way. So I think it's a great important scene. I love this movie. This movie is great.
It was a really good movie.
This movie
was really hard. I felt like, did I cry? I totally cried.
I'm sure you did. You cried everything.
I did.
I'm sure that had I seen this movie
cried.
if I saw this movie to come up, it would have been on my top 10 of the year. but
last year. Did it come out last year?
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
But I didn't get to see it until the Blu-ray. So
Well, we're going to count it as this year.
So.
It says 2023.
So anyway, it's an excellent movie. It's fun. Don't take all the transgender things out. Oh, I'm not watching it.
No, it's not even
it's this much of the movie.
Yeah, it's about the team.
But the movie's funny and
it's really about him learning to find family.
Yeah,
Because his whole family life is messed up. So he finds it here.
But it's funny. It's hilarious.
Super fun.
Yeah, it's a great flick.
Really good movie. And it's a true story.
Check it out. Available now on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital.
Okay. Next.
And I'm sure I think it's on Disney Plus now.
Mm-hmm. It's PG-13.
Well, but that has nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying.
I know Disney Plus has rated R stuff on there.
For people that may be concerned.
Well, they have rated R things. But it's on Disney Plus because it's part of Searchlight and Fox and all that stuff. So it's on Disney Plus now.
Let's talk about this. Y'all, this movie was crazy.
All right. In the wonderful world of Nicolas Cage, who has been on this massive surge of great movies lately.
So good.
Ever since, for those who don't know, Nicolas Cage used to turn out tons of movies that more often than not were just not good. He had this massive run back in the day with, I almost said 30 Rock. What is the name of that freaking movie?
The Rock?
Huh?
The Rock? I don't know.
The Rock, yeah. Sorry. It was The Rock and Con Air and all these great movies. Leaving Las Vegas, I believe he either nominated or won an Oscar for. And then all of a sudden he started churning out these movies. Well, come to find out, the man had some tax issues. And he was just taking any job he could get to pay his taxes. So he paid off his tax bills. He's finally thinking, and if you look at the trajectory of the announcement of when he paid the stuff off and the movies that have come out since, it's a whole different world. Because since then he's put out Pig, he's put out The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, he put out The Sympathy for the Devil.
What was that weird movie in the Asian Japanese, also robotic modern?
I love that movie. I know what you're talking about.
So weird.
That one, he put out Willy's Wonderland. I mean, like, there's a whole series of these movies.
Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Yes, I love that movie.
Crazy, but good.
So he's been on this trajectory of great flicks that I think that they're all a little more independent. They don't get massive release. I think The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is the only one that's really got a huge release. But his latest one, Dreamscenario, falls right back into that same category of some great flicks. It is a little different, and it might take a unique perspective to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it is produced by Ari Aster, who did Hereditary and Midsommar. So it fits
that's why I liked it.
It fits right into his wheelhouse of types of movies.
Except Hereditary, I still have those issues, but that's okay.
So why don't you tell us what it's about, if you can, without spoiling anything.
Let me try. So the movie is about this guy. He's a very ordinary guy. He's a college professor, but suddenly people begin dreaming of him, and they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, what was I doing in the dream? Nothing. You were just walking by. Like stuff is happening, and he's just like standing there watching."
And it becomes everybody.
Yeah, but everybody, like around the world, starts to begin dreaming about him. And so he suddenly has a little bit of fame. He becomes famous a little bit. And then things take a dark turn.
One of my favorite things about this movie is they never explain it.
Mm-hmm.
There's never a reason why.
I saw whole things like Dreamscenario explained. I'm like, don't explain it. Just enjoy it.
But there's nothing to explain. That's the thing is it just happens and then it suddenly stops. But that's not before, as she said, things go off the rails.
It just goes bad.
And the entire movie is really kind of a metaphor of that 5 minutes of fame, perception, getting that thing you want, and it's really not what you really want or need. And same other people they dream of things and they think, oh, I really want this thing. And it's kind of like making that wish that doesn't go right. Like the whole movie is kind of that, and it's crazy.
It is crazy.
And I love his look in this movie.
Yes. And it doesn't change. He's just got the what I consider like the little Frank
George Jefferson like there.
Yes. I was gonna say like the old school Pope Friar hair.
Yeah.
Friar tuck hair.
And he's super awkward in the movie and nerdy. But he's married and he has a kid, and so it's like he has everything he could want or need, but he's in that world of wanting more. And then suddenly becomes the unlikely person people are dreaming about. And it's interesting to see in all the different dream scenarios of like some might be sexual, some is horror, scary, some are just weird, some make no sense, some are funny. And watch them, and they take time to let them play out and show a bunch of different versions. It's a very creative movie.
it's interesting because, like you said, I think it's really just to look at the famed monster and how quickly and it can come and go. And also, like you said, be careful what you wish for or what you think your dream may be, and it's not ever how it turns out. Like it's a crazy movie, but it's actually really captivating and intriguing, and it really keeps you engaged.
Engaged.
It really does, and it makes no sense. And then at the end, I feel like it made sense. There's that one thing, I won't tell you who he's talking to, but he's like, "Oh, I wish this was like this dream would be real."
Yeah, and it even shifts everything into a big deal at the end that becomes
how they
monetize it and how they turn into something even more ridiculous.
But that's what we do.
How the world is.
Everything, even if it's good or bad, like some dumb invention that's horrible, and people will still buy it. You'll find it on Temu or something or whatever that app is. You can get it for $5.
That's crazy. I like this movie a lot. It's a great flick, but it is weird and strange.
But I think that's what we like about him.
I just like stuff that's not just normal all the time.
Agree.
Don't get me wrong. I like a plain average movie that you know where it's going to go, you know how it's going to end. You just turn your brain off and enjoy the watch. I also like movies like this that you're like, wait, what the hell is going on?
But I appreciate that he is one of those actors that's always all in. Whether the movie's good or bad, he is always all in. And you can see he put effort into it. He puts his whole self into it, and he's just in.
Well, I know I've said this story before, but there was an interview with him. I was just telling somebody else this recently, years ago. And this was after he had, dealt with a lot of the tax stuff. And he was talking about his movies and being more selective now and this and that. He said, all those years, he goes, he knew he was making some bad movies sometimes. He knew, he goes, the only thing that ever hurt him about bad reviews was him ever accusing him of phoning it in. He goes, because I gave everything to every role I ever took. Even if it wasn't a good movie. He goes, I was all in.
He is. He always is. I appreciate that.
If you want to see him as a kung fu master, watch the movie Jiu-Jitsu. It's fantastically bad. I love it.
There you go.
That's got him. It's got Tony Jaa.
Make sure you watch Pig.
Such a good movie. I love that movie.
Anyways, if you're like us, and there are lots of people, I'm surprised. Like my boss is one of those. He'll watch anything with Nicolas Cage, which surprises me.
Because he only watches real movie stuff.
Correct.
Like real life stories,
documentaries, like a Napoleon type thing.
Nice.
But he'll watch anything with Nicolas Cage, and I think that's the weight of a Nicolas Cage. So I would watch it.
Well, Nicolas Cage is one of those actors that's been around so long that he has different eras.
Mm-hmm.
You have young Nicolas Cage with the vampire movie he did and Valley Girl and all that stuff. Then you get shifted into superstar Nicolas Cage of the Con Air and The Rock and Ghost Rider and all those movies he did. Then you get that
Ghost Rider.
Huh?
I like Ghost Rider.
I like the second one. The first one's super cheesy.
Oh, National Treasure.
Yeah, National has his franchise.
I like that.
And so he was kind of the guy.
He's Face Off, right?
Yes, Face Off is one of my favorite movies all the time. They're making a sequel.
He's just,
but he went to that, and then he went into the era of the straight-to-video movies, and now he's kind of back on this upswing, and you're seeing him more interviews, you're seeing him more award shows. Like this movie was nominated for a Golden Globe.
Wow.
Or he was nominated for the Golden Globe, I believe it was. Something about it was with the Golden Globes. But he was at the Golden Globes, too, when they mentioned him, so... Anyway, I like Nicolas Cage getting recognition and seemingly doing stuff that he's enjoying doing too.
1 win, 16 nominations for what? Let's see. Golden Globe nominee, International, Satellite Awards, Critic Awards, Critic, International. He's got everything. This movie's like all out there.
DreamScenario is available now on Blu-ray and DVD and digital, so check it out.
Check it.
Even if you don't like Nicolas Cage, this is kind of a subdued Nicolas Cage. He's not the crazy version.
You should like Nicolas Cage.
But if you don't, I know a lot of people don't like him because he's so over the top all the time. This is the toned down Nicolas Cage. This is very
toned down.
So.
Super. Really. All right. You have to tell me about, this is the big one of the week, I believe.
Yes. The latest Dune.
Dun, dun, dun. How many parts are there?
Right now, there's just 2 with a clearly cliffhanger ending for a third one at least.
How many books?
I don't know. I only knew of the one Dune book, but I've never read it, so I honestly thought there was more than one, but I don't know that.
Yeah,
it may just be one novel. But it's a very big novel.
Originally published as 2 separate serials. Oh my! I'll find out. You tell me.
So anyway,
about
just to be clear,
he wrote 5 sequels to the book.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
So just to be clear, I was not a huge fan of the first Dune, Part 1. I'm not a huge fan of the original either. I've wanted to be a fan forever. And I know that seems silly, but I've always...
You wanted to like it.
Everything about it is stuff I like.
It's futuristic, it's sci-fi,
yeah,
it's
so it's like I don't understand why I can't get into it, that kind of thing. So it's just one of those movies. So when Denis Villeneuve directed the new one, I'm a fan of his. He did Arrival, he did the new Blade Runner. So I was looking forward to his version. And I was just so bored with the first one. It's visually stunning. It's created a world that's amazing. But I will say, I revisited the first one before seeing this new one, and I did enjoy it more. I've now seen it 3 times. I saw the screening. The first time I saw it, I couldn't have the hearing apparatus. They mumbled through that whole movie, so there's a lot of stuff I missed. So when I got to watch it at home with you, it made a little more sense to me. I was still bored, but I was not as bored as I was the first time. But I did dread a little bit revisiting it before watching this one, thinking, ugh. But I found myself a little more engaged this time around. But maybe it's because the anticipation of this one, because I also had heard that the second part was going to be a little more action heavy. So the first movie is all world building, set up. This next one is kind of the meat of it. I love the second one. The second one is fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, and it really did like Top Gun Maverick did. It made the first one better.
Okay.
So now I'm engaged in a way. Like I'm still not sucked into the way I always hoped I would be for that kind of sci-fi world, but it's really good. It's got some great action pieces.
Into it now.
It's very visual. It's amazing to look at. And the sandworms are there all the time doing different stuff and eating, destroying things. I think some of the new cast just elevated a little bit, seeing some of the cultural stuff play out of the Freeman, and Austin Butler is fantastic in this movie.
Okay.
Like he's creepy. He's kind of disturbing. And this color palettes I think are interesting because
his is very black and whitish.
It's him and Batista and all that group.
But then these people are very
you're in the sands and it's browns and it's beiges and stuff. Then you shift to them and it's this whole lack of color, whether it's either solid black or white, and maybe some grays.
They look kind of like deathly color.
Yeah, so then when you fuse them together, it's this weird amalgamation, and it's rare that they're at the same place. You know.
Oh, I love this lady.
I think some of the new.
I love her.
Huh?
I love Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh, and I like some of the way they did some of the makeup stuff, like with her with the tattoos on her face. Florence Pugh.
Pew pew.
Her like metal headdress she has is kind of cool.
She can do no wrong.
The only person, and he's fantastic in the movie, but I think he's the one person that doesn't feel in place with the rest of them, and it's only because, again, this may be how he's described in the book. He seems to be the only one that's not in some elaborate costume, and it's Christopher Walken, who plays this king emperor guy's Florence Pugh's dad.
Okay.
So all of her scenes are with Christopher Walken, but she looks like what you're looking at. All these things, he's just as in normal clothes.
Oh.
He doesn't even have any headpiece that you would think for like an emperor or a king. He doesn't have a crown. He doesn't have. It's nothing. Weird. It's just here's Christopher Walken in a robe.
What's Christopher doing? He is a walking.
So it doesn't hurt the movie by any means. So I'm kind of joking about it. I thought as a choice was interesting, and it may very well be because they're like, look, Christopher Walken's an old guy. Let's not cover him in a bunch of crap, But I really enjoyed the second movie. I'll be the first to admit. I enjoyed it. It's got a lot of good action. It does leave you hanging. It's interesting how it ends. It ends with a cliffhanger, but a completed cliffhanger.
Okay.
So kind of like when you used to see like even some of the Harry Potter movies where that movie's over and you're not sitting there going.
But a new adventure could begin.
Yeah, this one it ends the kind of these two with the it's not really a spoiler, with the you understand a war is coming.
Okay.
Right? And then it kind of leaves you preparing for the war, but you kind of understood at the beginning that no matter how the outcome of this entire thing comes, a war is still going to happen.
Yeah, something's going to happen.
So if we were never to see the war, you would still feel like, at least to me, you still feel like you got the bigger part of the story kind of come, the two films fit together, and the next film would be something else, even though it's continuation, if that makes sense. People that read the book are probably going to argue with me, like, no, that's not the end of it. I know it's not, and I get it. It's just
obviously there's 6 or 7 books, so
yeah, but it does end with a single shot and something very clearly, part 3 is coming. But it did make $80-something million this weekend. So
okay,
the thing I thought was hilarious is people were already trying to bash it, like I guess non-fans or people that like to bash studios. So like somebody shared an image that said, I think it was like 15 million or something. Well, it looks like Dune. They shared it today. Well, it looks like Dune was a bomb. That was like the Thursday preview.
One day.
That was all. 15 million that one day. It made like $81 million over the weekend.
Doing okay.
Yeah. So, and I think that's just domestic. I don't even know what it made internationally. So anyway, plus
82 so far.
Is that 82?
What does that mean?
And I will say this: watching the press with all this cast has been a blast because they all seem to get along. It's these two, Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet. Actually, his name is Timothy Chalamet. Austin Butler and Florence Pugh have been doing a lot of press together.
Nice.
And it's been fun to watch. And Austin Butler has finally ditched his Elvis accent, which I read an article. He said he had to go to another speech therapist, whatever, to get rid of it because he couldn't get out of it. He'd been stuck in it so long he couldn't. I'm like, I kept waiting to, like, when he comes out as the character. He plays the same character that Sting played in the original. And I'm like, is he going to come out like, oh. but
he messed up his voice.
Yeah, and his prosthetics, he tells a story as like he shot this other movie called The Riders or something that's been heavily promoted right now with him and Tom Hardy. And they asked him a lot of the press stuff. Did you shave your head for this movie?
Yeah, that's
because he has no eyebrows, he has
yeah.
no hair. He's like, no. They told me like the other director said, please do not shave your head.
Oh, because it would have been cool to do it.
So he said his prosthetic came down to here because it had to cover his eyebrows. So it went all the way down into his eye. And he's like, and if it was done slightly off, he wouldn't be able to move his eye.
Oh my god!
And so he had to put all that on. It was like 3-4 hours. Just putting all that on.
It would have been easier to shave your head.
Yes, well, that and shave his eyebrows. And he goes, if I didn't have the other movie, I would have just done that. But the other director was like, please don't. I don't want to put on some fake bushy eyebrows on.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
Anyway, I enjoyed Dune2, and I'm actually looking forward to the third one.
Okay.
I think you're going to like this one a lot better.
I hope so. But I got to sit through the first one to watch it.
And I'm actually, and if I'm watching the second one again, I think I can easily sit through the first one again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It'll be okay. All right. Well, check it out. Dune Part 2.
Dune. Oh, is it to me?
It's over to you, my love.
Sorry. There's not a lot coming out this week on the Blu-rays and stuff. You didn't change it. What? You clearly didn't look at it.
Oh, I haven't done that. Oh, I'll go. You go. You do your thing. I'll do it.
Anyway, somebody's not prepared.
Oh,
there's not a lot of new stuff. It's actually all like old releases getting new releases. So there's some old black and white movie. Archangel looks like it's getting a Blu-ray release. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance with Jimmy Stewart, John Wayne's getting a 4K release. The 355, that movie with who is it? What's that lady's name? Jessica Chastain.
Whatever her name is.
That one with that. Do you remember that movie?
No.
Some of the ladies that are all like spies or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't a bad movie.
I liked it.
It's getting a 4K
people
release.
People didn't like it because it was too girl power.
Well, most people don't like Jessica Chastain. The thing I'm most excited about, and I'm bummed that I'm not getting a copy of it. It's really more of a selfish thing because I already have it. But they're putting out a Saw 10 film collection. That's this cool thing with like these chainsaw looking cover. And it's an anniversary edition. But there's a new Saw movie coming this year, so I'll just hopefully I can get it the next time. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is all old stuff. Oh, that RWBY Justice League thing that we've seen.
Yes.
RWBY has a new Ice Queendom, the complete season coming out.
Oh, I'm a fan now.
If you want to watch their show, that's pretty much it.
I'll be watching that now because I'm a fan. Okay, hold on 1 second because I'm trying to update my live.
Somebody didn't do her stuff.
No, I was rushing. But
I can't tell you this. I'm going to tell you a couple other things while you're doing that.
All right.
There's been some fun trailers and stuff like this that have gotten released recently. So while she's doing that, I can tell you about some stuff that's on our website that you can go check out or some stuff that's coming out. So they finally released a trailer for the new Strangers trilogy. From what it looks like it's the beginning, the origin of the Strangers, if you've never seen the Strangers. But it was came out of left field. It was the Strangers chapter 1 of 3. They put out the final Ghostbusters trailer, which looks awesome. Borderlands, which I didn't play the video game, but I'm an Eli Roth fan. He made the movie, so I'm all in to check it out. Roadhouse. I think the new Roadhouse movie actually looks really good.
It does.
Crap. Not a lot of crap. It's got a lot of fight and backlash because it's coming straight to Amazon. And apparently the director was like, made it for this big screen, and they were like, they've always known that it was planned to be even Jake Gyllenhaal said from day one it was always meant to be an Amazon movie, and so there have been issues with that. And funny enough, Jake Gyllenhaal today posted a picture of himself and Patrick Swayze from back in Donnie Darko, because I think that was one of his first movies, and Patrick Swayze's in that movie. And he's like, he helped me rely, didn't have to when I was just young acting, kid, whatever. Kevin Costner has this movie called Horizon, an American Saga, coming out that he directed and starred in. It's a new Western, and it's 2 parts, and both parts are coming out this year.
Oh, I like
that. So
that.
it's like part 1, and then a couple months later, part 2. So it's very big, epic, whatever. So is that it then?
That's it. Let me tell you what's coming out online or at the theater. So today, Sunday, there is a new series on Max starring Kate Winslet. I'm really excited to watch it. It's called The Regime, and it's based... Are you
sure it's not pronounced regime?
It's The Regime. It's based on a fictional Middle European autocracy, whatever. Anyways, turmoil in her country. She's trying to control it. I love me some Kate Winslet. I'm there for The Regime. Coming out Monday on Video Demand and Digital, a movie called Frankenstein Legacy. It's a century after Frankenstein's doomed experiment. His journals have landed in bad hands, and now they're going to try to recreate, I think. So we'll see how that goes. Coming out on Tuesday, Beware the Boogeyman. Bum, bum, bum. This lady is a first day at the psychiatric hospital, and she begins to see a series of strange cases. Why would it beware? Also on Video Demand and Digital on Tuesday, a movie called T Blockers. It's a small town, Australia, and nightmare is brewing. Bum, bum, bum. Ancient parasites.
Sorry, I'm reading.
Yeah, that's true. Also on Video Demand Digital, a movie called Before I Changed My Mind, 1987. They're trying to figure out who the new kid is, but then decides to bond with the school bully, but could be a dangerous choice. Also, Video Demand and Digital, To the Troubles, a Dublin story. I was just having problems. I needed help speaking.
I was like, I don't know what that is. Why are you?
This is during the time of the IRA in Dublin, so if you're interested in that. Coming out Thursday, the new Amazon Prime movie of the week, Ricky Stenicki.
I can't wait for that.
So it looks fun.
Zac Efron and John Cena.
It looks ridiculous. Also, finally, you can watch it on the line. Coming to Hulu, Poor Things.
Poor Things was excellent.
It's a great movie, and people are probably going to not like it and be disturbed, but it was good. Coming out Friday to the theater, I'm kind of excited and scared. The movie Imaginary. This is the one where the little girl becomes friends with the imaginary bear, but the teddy bear actually moves and starts doing stuff and has her hurting herself.
I'm excited.
It's evil. Also coming out as a movie called Cabrini, the story of Francesca Cabrini, who is the greatest entrepreneur of the 19th century.
Yeah, we go way back.
And Kung Fu Panda 4.
For what?
Part 4. Kung Fu Panda Part 4. So we need to watch Kung Fu Panda.
We got number 3
now. Yeah, so we're watching all of
them. Then we got to watch the
those.
entire TV series.
Coming to Netflix this week is a movie called Damsel. It's a lady who agrees to marry a handsome prince, but of course something goes wrong because she finds out they're only marrying her to sacrifice her to pay off some family debt.
It's the new Millie Bobby Brown movie.
Yes, Millie Bobby Brown.
It's like she turns into like an action thing.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. It looks kind of cheesy, but it looks like it could be fun.
A movie coming to Video Demand and Digital on Friday called Night Shift. It's a girl that works at a hotel and suddenly feels like she's being followed.
Here's the guy from New Girl, I believe. Lamar Smith.
Lamorne Smith. And everything else I think is limited release, so it may not be near you. But that's it for the week. So
I believe the new movie, new Adam Sandler movie, Spaceman, I think is on Netflix now.
Oh, okay.
So that's another
Maybe
big
we
one.
missed it.
Another big one. It's a drama, not a comedy.
There you go.
Anyway, So we shipped in a contest now?
Yes, I'm now ready for contest.
All right, so we got some new stuff up there today.
Let me get
That
there.
Thankfully I saw what she was up to over there. Or you already got a bunch of old
I
stuff.
hadn't
So we got a new
My
movie,
bad.
I keep saying Polar
Polar
Express.
Express.
Polar Rescue, which is a
Donnie Yen and Polar
It's a
Express.
Donnie Yen movie that he co-directed. It is not a martial arts flick. It's just a kind of a drama action type thing. It's Cliffhanger in the Snow, it looks like, about a guy whose son gets lost, so he's trying to find him. Then we have another movie called 1% Warrior,
That looks good.
which is both of these are Well Go USA action drama type. Anything with Sakaguchi, I want to watch it, so I'm excited.
Looks cool.
We have digital copies of Migration to give away. So if you haven't, check out the Mallard family. We can help you out with that. One of my favorite movies last year, still got a couple copies left of The Holdovers, which is most excellent. And then we got copies of Wonka, the latest one that she refuses to watch, no matter what I tell her. And it's fantastic. Even if you don't like the other Wonka movies, it's a fun movie. And then we got copies of A Creature Was Stirring still.
Yeah.
So we got all kinds of movies that have nothing to do with each other available for you now.
There you go, free stuff.
And we have some new stuff that's going to be popping up this week. Bless you. Stop sneezing on the dog.
Okay, the dog's over there. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Go find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Hive, and Blue Sky.
And in our house.
There you go, HollywoodMatrimony.com. We
Peace
will
out,
see
dogs.
you next week. Bye.
Unless we don't.